session, our 45-minute listening session, and we had a wonderful problem tonight, as we had, or this month, as we had 27 people that signed up, but we're honoring the first 14 that signed up, and I thank Patty Paquette, who's our board support, that for contacting all of the folks who had signed up and offering them to come to the July meeting, and you'll speak based on the order that you had signed up for. And so again, we welcome that people are eager to speak to the board. We also welcome emails as well to us in between, anytime, but in between now and July as well. And so we are going to begin the listening session, and we have first to do roll call of our board. We do have two board members that are joining by Zoom, but they're online, and they'll be noticed during our roll call. So, Clerk.
Member Banks?
Here.
Member Durek Eater?
Present.
Member Loeffler-Kemp?
Here.
Member Lofald?
Present.
Member Mikesell?
Here.
Member Williams?
Here.
And I am here. Superintendent Magus?
Here.
Assistant Superintendent Bonds?
Present.
Deputy Clerk Zunich? Present. Executive Director of HR and Operations Severance?
Present.
And Board Secretary Paquette?
Here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And just again, a huge thank you to the work that our board secretary, Patty Paquette, does to help us prepare for the listening sessions and have contact with folks who sign up.
Before we get started, I want to raise a question of order, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Member Banks.
So I'm looking at this list of speakers for tonight, 14 of them. I'm wondering if they are from the same organizations. If they are we obligated to limit the number of speakers to 3 from one organization? Or according to the website, it does say that, but can somebody explain what that process is? Because we do have other people that would love to speak tonight, and I just want to know if there's anybody that's speaking tonight, if they're from the same organization, and how many of them that would be. Thank you.
Well, Patty, for one, I don't know if you have a sense of that when you were contacting people. It wasn't clear if all of the speakers were from one organization. Some are community members, some are staff members, some are parents. And so as people were signing up, and this list was created, it was based on who signed up and, you know, when they signed up. And so we did go for just having all 14 be the first ones because of the order they signed up.
And our procedures state that that we could encourage them. The board encourages participants to identify 3 individuals to speak on behalf of the group, but it's not, we're not requiring it at this time. It was hard to determine, again, who was part of a group and who wasn't. So I think that kind of moving forward, it's something that we can discuss as a board and try to improve our procedure.
We recognize that we started this new format in January. There's a whole lot of different ways school boards across the state move forward when there's more speakers than the 45 minutes. And at this is the first time that we have had this opportunity. And so we did feel that the most fair way was to, and because we weren't sure if they were from an organized group, to allow the first 14, which is going to go over 45 minutes. And then what Patty, who is the one who is in communication with speakers when they sign up, she did follow up with all of the speakers with an email explaining that and giving them the opportunity to email us, but also to come to our July meeting, and we would have them speak based on the order they had signed up this month. Yeah, we're learning, and we haven't had this opportunity to have so many folks, and so this is what we felt would work best for tonight so that we could continue with the business of our board in a timely way as well. But we certainly, as we said, when we pass this policy, we will revisit it. And the guidelines that were put together, again, a lot of thought was put together behind that as well. So.
Member Lawford Kemp, I believe there might be a hand raised online.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to need everybody's help because we have two people on. Even thank you for being on the same screen. I did ask Member Banks to help me with that as well, but anyone over on this side, please let us know. Is it Chair Lofold?
It is. Thank you, Sitting Chair Loeffler Kemp. You actually explained it quite well, and I appreciate Member Banks's question. But as board chair, I feel like I should share too that those are decisions that the board chair has been given to make determination in unique situations. I don't think this won't happen very often, and I'm delighted that many that had signed up to speak when contacted are willing to come in July, and that gives me as a board chair confidence that we will have that kind of community support when we have the issues of too many signed up. And like Member Loeffler Kemp said, it's an important board meeting for us as well tonight with lots of action and information and votes to be taken. But and then I want to stop talking so we can get to our speakers. But thank you, Member Banks, for allowing us to clarify as well.
So we generally start the listening session with the reading of our civility code, and Member Banks, if you could do that, and then our Clerk Sadowski will review the guidelines so everyone's clear on the process. And again, it's great to see so many folks here, so many people supporting our public schools in lots of different ways and wanting to share information with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The school board recognizes 11 tools of civility that will provide increased opportunities for civil discourse in order to find positive resolutions to the issues that face our community. These tools include pay attention, listen, be inclusive, don't gossip, show respect, be agreeable, apologize, give constructive criticism, take responsibility, be honest and care for others, show your evidence, share your reasoning.
Thank you, Member Banks. And then Clerk Sadowski.
Yep, I'm going to read some information to know when you're speaking at our listening session, so a few guidelines. So if you have handouts for the board, please give them to our school board secretary, Patty, over here. Persons addressing the board will have 3 minutes total. When speaking, the use of names or any information that identifies a specific individual is prohibited, and you will be asked to end your comments. Persons addressing the board may not merge their time in order to allow one person to speak more than 3 minutes. And the clerk of the board will start the stoplight timer at the start of each person's time. Green means go, yellow means wrap up, and red means stop, and that'll be right here. When the red light comes on, the chair will gavel to signal you to end. And in the interest of respect for every listening session speaker, please hold any commentary during the speaker's time until they've finished. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll gavel again at 3 minutes. I'll also stand up just so you can see that, to help you out there. So to begin with, and you come up to the front here, and is the mic on? Okay, and the mic is on. And I'll kind of read the first 3 folks so you can prepare yourself again. So our first speaker is Catherine Yapel. The second speaker is Louise Kernall, and the third is Maddie Yapel. So we'll begin with Catherine coming to the front. Thank you.
Okay. Dear school board members, Superintendent Megas, Assistant Superintendent Bonds, and CFO Zunich. My name is Kate Yapple, and I've come to speak to you tonight to share some very good news about the potential of putting solar on Duluth Public Schools. I know that the most important aspect in regards to the district is financial feasibility, and I'm happy to say that what our group is about to share is very appealing in that way. This project started in 2018 when I was just in 7th grade. We formed a group called the Duluth Climate Club, and right away it was clear that our goal was solar on district schools. Reflecting on that time, I can see that we were a very ambitious group, but we were also dedicated. We met several times a week and worked with professionals to gather data on what is required for a solar array. Even at the age of 13, we were well versed in the research. The case we formed was a 35 kilowatt array, just enough to cover the Ordine Middle School's LED light fixtures in its gym. This first draft of the project was presented to the school board. At this meeting, we were told that the array was just too small to make a difference. We kept pushing, though. Unfortunately, the next meetings had much the same result. It was too expensive, not big enough to make a difference, and not responsible to place on an older roof. Devastated, the group's effort began to slow, and the COVID-19 pandemic made continuing work on the project tough. However, we began to hear talk of the Solar for Schools legislation that was being considered for the 2021-22 state budget. Eager, we pushed, writing letters, meeting with state legislation, and attending hearings. The bill passed. Ecstatic, our motivation was rejuvenated. Immediately, we focused our sights onto the grant in a better location, Lincoln Park Middle School. Once again, we presented our project to the school board, and this time it was just tabled. The group truly felt defeated. Progress slowed and the group dissolved. Up until 2 months ago, none of us felt like we were ever going to get this done. However, in the past few weeks, we've expanded to work with Denfeld, attended meetings with climate champions, and reestablished our project. We are now here to present to you our project. We know without a doubt that this could be the easiest decision of your lives. We've done the research, and now it's time for you to buy in. With the Solar for Schools grant and other sources of funding, the district can get the first megawatt of solar for free. What is being asked of you is to please look at installing 1 megawatt of solar at Lincoln Park Middle School. This is the only purchase that will ever make you money. 1 megawatt of solar at Lincoln will cover 77% of that school's energy and approximately 10.6% of the district's utility bill. This isn't just 1 year, it's 10.6%, which is equivalent to $105,000 in savings every year for the next 25 to 30 years, which is the lifetime of solar panels. That's a lot of money. In fact, the district roughly spends $980,000 a year on utilities, and with the savings, the cost could be reduced to $875,000 a year. This is especially pertinent because utilities are the second highest expense in the district after personnel. Over the next 25 years, ISD 709 will save about $2.6 million by installing this array. This is the best deal you could ever imagine. Thank you.
The next speaker is Louise Kernall, then it'll be Maddie Yapel, and then the fourth speaker is Tavin Roth.
Hello, my name is Louise Curnow. I'm a resident of Duluth and a supporter of Duluth Public Schools and a supporter of the Minnesota Solar for Schools initiative that these really smart public school students are bringing you today. There's no remaining controversy regarding climate change. It is here and happening and progressing. In northern Minnesota, we might not feel like it's a big deal. We haven't felt the extreme heat that we see in other parts of the country. We haven't experienced the massive and frequent tornadoes that have been ripping through the central U.S. But our climate is changing, and it is affecting the Northland. These changes will worsen here and around the world unless we take action now. According to the Minnesota DNR, Minnesota is getting warmer and wetter. Our winters have warmed nearly 7 degrees, and most of that warming has occurred in the last several decades. Some may see this as a pleasant change from our very cold winters, but these changes not only have a negative impact on plant and animal ecosystems, they have a negative impact on the normally robust winter economy, as well as increasing human risk from disease-carrying pests, which are normally controlled by our cold. The economic impact of climate change is undeniable and is being felt here in Minnesota. Minnesota is seeing more tornadoes, wind damage, hail, extreme downpours with flash flooding, snow loads, ice dams, and wind-driven wildfires. In addition to the human impact these storms have, they create a huge economic impact, including increasing the cost of property insurance. Some school districts have seen their property insurance go up by 328% in just 2 years. Much of this due to the effects of extreme weather. Minnesota school districts are experiencing these huge premium hikes as well. And national events drive the cost for all of us. In the decade of the 1980s, there were 3.3 weather events in the U.S. that were $1 billion events. In the last year alone, there were 28. Climate change is worsening. The time to act is now. You clearly have a community of support for this proposal. These students have proven a willingness to work and to persevere and to get community involved. They have a vested interest, and so should you. The Minnesota Solar for Schools grant is a winning proposition for all of us, for the school district, for the taxpayer, for the environment, for these students, and most importantly, for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Maddie Yapel, and then again on deck is Tavern Roth and Amelia Gilbert.
Good evening. My name is Maddie Apple. It's good to see you again, and a lot has changed since I last met with you. The last time we presented information about the Solar for Schools grant, the regulations only allowed for a 40 kilowatt solar array, which is very small. Now, in the newest version of the bill, the Solar for Schools grant will allow 1 megawatt for districts working with Elite Energy. Also, the funding for Solar for Schools grant has since doubled, creating more opportunities. The grant will cover 50% or the first $500,000 in an array. This makes the grant a huge help in putting ISD 709 on the right track for solar. Some regulations of the grant are that each round of funding will cap at $500,000, and once 1 megawatt is installed in the district of Duluth Public Schools cannot apply for further rounds. Another radical change that has since happened in this passing is the Inflation Reduction Act. The IRA was passed August 16, 2022 by Congress. The IRA was put in place to make it so every single American, including school districts, has the opportunity to go green. Under the IRA, non-tax-paying entities, such as schools, can receive tax credit on solar and other green energy through elective pay. Basically, federal government will cover a portion of the cost of the array. This portion is 30% of the original cost before adding the grant. It can be collected 2 years after purchasing the array. Under the IRA, there are also several adders. Each adder will cover another 10% of the original cost. The adders are as follows. 10% for purchasing Made in America products, 10% if the project is built in an energy community, coal community, or brownfield site, 10% for low-income communities, and 10% for federally subsidized affordable housing. Our district can utilize 2 of these adders and possibly a third. We could easily receive Made in America adder by working with a company that features U.S.-made products. Another adder that the district can take advantage of is the one given to low-income communities. Many schools in West Duluth, including Lincoln Park Middle School, fall under this adder. This means placing an array on one of these schools would ensure another 10% off. Finally, federally subsidized affordable housing adder is a lot like a lottery. The district may or may not get it. In conclusion, I will break down the resources to cover the cost of 1 megawatt. There will need to be 2 rounds of grant funding in order to receive 1 megawatt. The Solar for Schools grant will cover 50% of the total cost. Also, the IRA and subsequent adders, there will be a guaranteed 50% off the total cost. That means 100% of the first megawatt's cost will be covered by state and federal funding. Now is the time to take advantage of these opportunities, which ultimately could offset the district's utilities costs by 10.6% annually. Thank you for your time, and please consider the benefits that this could offer to our district.
Next speaker is Tavern Roth, and then Amelia Gilbert and Julie Ederson.
Hello, ISD 709 School Board. I'm Tavern Roth, an incoming senior at Duluth East High School. I'm here tonight in support of Duluth East Climate Club and their efforts to get solar arrays on school buildings. As the current student government co-president, I can speak on behalf of the student government when I say that we fully support Climate Club's initiatives and the hard work that they have put into campaigning for solar energy. As the student government co-president, I want to take my time today to speak on the importance of what taking advantage of this grant would do for the student. By implementing solar arrays through the Solar on Schools grant, not only are you taking monumental steps that will benefit students for many years due to the environmental impacts, but you are also showing how a student group can come together and rally for change. You empower the student. Other students see Climate Club's efforts and know that they can make a change where they see fit. I also want to emphasize the importance of solar arrays for future students and generations today. Throughout my time in school, importance has been placed on my identity as the future generation. We are the future. By implementing solar arrays, the district shows its value for their students' future. The upcoming generations are going to have to deal with climate change and the impacts caused to our natural world from fossil fuel use and natural gas use. The current power sources of our district. Implementation of solar arrays will not only create a positive economic impact for our school district, but it will also reduce carbon emissions, which is just one step towards stopping global warming, an issue that is very prevalent for our and future generations. I want to conclude today just by stating again how important it is that we take advantage of this opportunity presented in the form of this grant. By using this grant to start the implementation of solar arrays in IC 709, the district shows its appreciation for student groups, empowering them. It also takes a positive step towards reducing their carbon footprint and moving towards more sustainable practices. So please, when you're considering our appeal to you today, consider your students and the way this opportunity will impact them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. The next speaker is Amelia Gilbert. And then it'll be Julie Edison and Zoe Pearson.
Okay. Hello, school board. My name is Amelia Gilbert, and I am the co-founder of the Plant and Climate Club at East. Though I currently attend a normal high school in Minnesota, for much of my life, I attended an alternative or hippie school in Austin, Texas. It was focused on outdoor education and sustainability. This school instilled upon me the value and the cost of energy. This school, though deep in the heart of Texas, had no air conditioning. And though this may seem normal up here, in the South, it was a deep commitment to energy saving. As you may know, Texas is heavily reliant on fossil fuels, but had we the ease of accessibility to solar that we have here, we would have jumped at the chance, and I urge y'all to do the same. In 2021, I moved to Duluth out of all other cities because of its status as a climate refuge, and I hope to see the same dedication to environmental activism that I saw in Austin here in Duluth. And I would like to see Duluth live up to its commitment to becoming a carbon neutral city by the year 2050. Adding solar panels to our school will kickstart the process of educating children about renewable energy and hopefully inspire future generations' commitment to clean energy. For anyone that is hesitant about pushing the move towards cleaner energy, I urge you to consider the past 2 winters we have just experienced. Please consider the record-breaking amount of snow, followed by a nearly record-breaking lack of it. We are living through a time of unpredictable highs and lows, caused in part by emissions from non-renewable energy sources, such as the ones we rely on to keep our houses warm in this ever-so-frigid city. We are fortunate enough to have the opportunity to apply to grants that would reduce the price of solar panels to essentially free. The coming round of solar funding will cover 50% of the cost, and with the addition of adders such as being made in America and in a low-income community, we can get a megawatt of solar on Lincoln Park Middle School without spending a dollar. This is excellent funding, and it is imperative that we apply it as soon as possible because the future of this money is unknown as competition may increase in the future. Investing our time into solar is one of the few purchases we can make that will make the district money over time. It also provides an incredibly hands-on opportunity to teach everything from different types of energy to calculating energy and exponential decay. This can be done through field trips and virtual tracking provided with the array. This will be relatively straightforward to implement as institutions like CERTS, Generation 180, and SEIA have already mapped out a curriculum for adding solar education into K through 12. Adding solar to our schools would be a clear symbol to show our commitment and support of sustainability. It will hopefully pave the way for future schools to do the same, while helping Duluth live up to its commitment to becoming a carbon neutral city. I urge you to embrace this project just as I and over 400 community members have. I hope you see the benefits that we have laid out today and help us to move forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Julie Edison, and then it'll be Zoe Pearson, Maureen Pearson, and then Greg Jones. Julie? Or-
I am Greg Jones, but I am reading a letter from Julie Ederson. So you can cross me off when I come up, if that's all right with you. She was unable to attend. This is the letter from Dr. Julie Ederson. My name is Dr. Julie Ederson, and I am a professor at in the Department of Biology at UMD and director of the Institute on the Environment, Duluth. I'm writing to express my full support for the initiative proposed by Kate and Maddie Yapple to integrate solar energy into their school. As a concerned citizen and advocate for sustainable solutions, I firmly believe that this endeavor not only will benefit the students, but also aligns with our collective responsibility to combat climate change. Moreover, as the director of the Institute on the Environment, I can attest to the organization and enthusiasm of Kate Yapple and Maddie Yapple, who attended and presented to the faculty and community members about the Climate Club's proposal. It is undeniable that climate change poses one of the greatest challenges of our time. The consequences of inaction are already being felt globally, from extreme weather events to rising sea levels. As members of the older generation, we bear a significant responsibility to address this urgent issue and mitigate its impact on future generations. The proposal put forward by your high school students exemplifies proactive thinking and a commitment to environmental stewardship. By harnessing solar energy, public schools can reduce their carbon footprint, contribute to cleaner energy or air quality, and serve as a model for sustainable practices within our community. Furthermore, investing in solar energy is not only environmentally responsible, but also fiscally prudent. Over time, the cost savings from reduced energy bills can offset the initial investment, resulting in long-term economic benefits for our school district. Most importantly, integrating solar energy into your school curriculum provides invaluable educational opportunities. Students will have the chance to learn about renewable energy technologies, energy efficiency, and the importance of environmental conservation firsthand. Is that me? Okay. This hands-on experience not only will enhance their academic learning, but also will empower them to become informed and engaged citizens capable of driving positive change and reducing climate anxiety that is increasingly a mental health problem among young people. In conclusion, I urge the school board to wholeheartedly support the high school students' initiative to add solar energy to the Duluth Public Schools. By doing so, you will demonstrate your commitment to environmental sustainability, empower your students to become environmental leaders, and fulfill our duty to future generations. Your students have done such wonderful work preparing the plan. Let's not let them down. Thanks for your consideration, and thanks for considering this important matter. Sincerely, Julie Ederson.
Thank you. Greg, I just want to, Greg, can I just clarify? So you were listed as a speaker down, so were you planning on?
That was my plan, was to read some of the letters that the organization received. And she was not able to attend, so I read hers.
Okay,
So cross me off the list.
Okay, that's what I wanted to, thank you so much. Zoe Pearson, please.
Hi, I'm Zoe Pearson, and I'm a member of Climate Club and a student at East High School. A major component to consider when thinking about installing solar panels is where do you put them? To answer this question, we analyzed solar maps and satellite sun exposure data from the University of Minnesota. When using this data to look at schools in our district, all of them have at least one viable spot for solar, but the best and most solar efficient location would be at Lincoln Park Middle School. The currently unused green space next to Lincoln has an average of 83% solar effectiveness. This is substantially higher than other spaces in our district. The green space has many other benefits too. For one, ground-mounted array instead of an array on the roof prevents possible damage to the school building. Secondly, it can help reduce potential distraction that some feel installation might cause. Also, we spoke to facilities who informed us that Lincoln is pushing for an outdoor classroom in the green space. A solar array and an outdoor classroom would complement each other so well, which is another reason to consider applying for this funding. Overall, Lincoln is our best choice for this grant and round of funding, which does not mean other schools wouldn't be compatible for solar. It just means that this location is our best focus right now. And we're not the only ones who think solar in the district is a great idea. Our district, town, and community is full of passionate people who are looking to support sustainable energy and solar power. One way that support has been demonstrated was through the use of a petition. We started a petition for solar in the schools to prove to ourselves and our community that this goal is something the community wants and needs. In 2 weeks, our petition reached our goal of 400 signatures from district students, parents, staff, and community members. Here is an anonymous comment left on our petition. Solar panels would make a great addition to ISD 709. Not only will they save money in the long run, they help create a more sustainable school. These solar panels could be used as a way to teach students environmentalism and be incorporated into hands-on learning." End quote. Additionally, we received vocal and written support from the City of Duluth, the State of Minnesota Office of Enterprise and Sustainability, the UMD Institute on the Environment, Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, Citizens Climate Lobby, Sierra Club, and more. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Zoe. Maureen Pearson? Maureen Pearson? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maureen Pearson, and I am a student at East High School and a co-founder of our school's climate club. I'm excited to be here today to share the application process for the Solar in the Schools grant. Before we apply, we have to gain the school board's approval, as well as approval from the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and CFO. This is why we are speaking to you today. Then we can email the Solar for Schools program to receive an ID number for the project. Next, we must complete a readiness assessment where we contact our utility, explore installation sites, discover any roadblocks, start planning for some solar-related curriculum, and demonstrate support for the project. Much of this we have already done, making this portion easy to do. This application is not binding and does not mean that the district has to commit to the project. Of course, we want you to, but even if the school board wants to cancel the project, filling out this application does no harm to the district. For this round of the grant, we have from July 1st to July 31st to submit the readiness assessment. Afterwards, we must complete a full grant application. During this stage, we have 3 months to choose a solar developer for the project. The developer completes the full grant application. If all the requirements are met and the full grant application is approved, we have 1 year after the start of the contract to install the solar panels. One example of a solar developer we could work with is Ideal Energies, who has worked with 160 Minnesota school buildings. There are also so many other developers in the area that would be more than happy to work with our district. In the process of getting solar, we do not have to reinvent the wheel. There are abundant examples of Minnesota schools that have done this before and have done it well. Here are 2 out of many. The Red Wing district has a 6-megawatt community solar garden. It generates enough energy to power 120% of the district's energy usage. Red Wing leased out their land, so they not only will save $7.7 million in energy costs, but will also make $1 million in land lease revenue. Chisago Lakes is another great example. Throughout their district, they have 5 rooftop solar projects with a 40-kilowatt array on each of their schools. They're estimated to save $3 to $6 million in energy costs in the next 25 years. Imagine what extra resources our district could invest in with extra funding like this. Their solar arrays will also save 56 million tons of carbon dioxide from entering the atmosphere. And these schools didn't have the same funding we do now. Since 2022, 93 schools have earned the Solar for Schools grant, and the grant has over 60 projects pending. We are not alone in our goal of obtaining solar panels. I ask you to please work with us to apply for this grant. I understand that an undertaking and timeline like this seems intimidating, but it will be both financially and environmentally ameliorating. This funding won't be available forever, and neither will our opportunities to preserve the earth. Thank you for listening.
Maureen. Next is Catherine Nachbar, Apple Pearson, and then Thea Hans. Catherine Nachbar. So Catherine, then Apple Pearson, then Thea Hans, then Paul Hedstrom, and Molly McNamee.
Start. Okay. My name is Catherine. I'm an educator with ISD 709 and a social studies teacher, and fortunate to work with so many of these fantastic students. A little bit of context. I wasn't sure I'd make it here today. My flight into Minneapolis, and we were leaving at about 4 o'clock this morning, and a number of people, as they were loading onto buses from the AP reading, weren't sure if they're going to be able to land in various places of the country. I think our global warming is real. And the time is of the essence message is here tonight. So a couple of things is learning is reciprocal. I've learned a lot from the students that are here. And I think that the opportunity that we have is timely and incredibly valuable. As the plane was landing in Minneapolis, I wouldn't have noticed this if it wasn't for them, that we have so many schools already in our state, and I know that funding streams are different, but we have so many schools that have the solar panels, and I think that we could be at the forefront here in Duluth as one of the greater Minnesota larger schools. We have new leadership from the last time that this was presented. There's additional monies that are available, and there are new members here on the board. So it was mentioned when we talk about time is of the essence that some letters are being read, and I want to paraphrase one from Alex Jackson. He's the Enterprise Energy Coordinator from the Office of Enterprise Sustainability from the Department of Administration with the state. ISD 709 could receive a rebate between 30 to 70% depending on the size and locations of the solar array institutions. This is part of that IRA Act that was stated earlier, the Inflation Reduction Act. The state programs and IRA offer the district the potential of nearly free solar arrays. This is pending in brief conversation, so fact check me, always fact checked, you know, right, the teacher, that this could depend on where the panels are being placed. And starting in the west, you might receive some additional funds so that there are placement considerations. The state programs offer the district the potential of nearly free solar arrays, and the capital expense offsets would offer flexibility with financial resource to address other financial shortfalls. In addition, the Office of Enterprise Sustainability is currently in the process of contracting with others, and that this could move forward, hopefully. Last, I wear a second hat here, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention something as also not only a teacher, but proud to be a labor leader here in the state of Minnesota. And many of our colleagues are here, and I just wanted to take a moment to say how much their work matters for our clerical contract, for our contracts that haven't been settled. But I know as they're here, my heart goes out to you. It's a hard process, and you are the face and the heart of our schools and our district, and the first that we see and we meet and we greet. So value of belonging, and I thank all of you for the support that you do give, but I hope that they can settle soon. So thank you for all you do and for being on the board and serving in our community.
The next speaker is Apple Pearson, and then it'll be Thea Hans, Paul Hedstrom, and Molly McNamee. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Hello, my name is Apple Pearson, and I'm co-president of the Ordinis Middle School Student Council. I believe, as do many others at my school, that our environment is precious and we should do everything we can to protect it. The Solar for Schools program is a wonderful opportunity to not only protect the world we live in, but to include students in the process. Already, we have seen students from different schools in the district come together to work towards this common goal. Solar panels will also inspire students to pursue climate-related jobs. The job industry of the future is going to require more careers in green energy and the protection of our environment. Having solar panels could be a great segue into the fields that students will work in the future. Please consider pursuing this opportunity to teach, empower, and connect the students in our district. The following is a letter of support by Jenna Yakel, representing the Sierra Club North Star chapter. Dear Duluth Public Schools Superintendent Magus and school board members, first, we want to extend a thank you to the student leaders for the invitation to express our support in calling on leaders of our Duluth Public Schools to approve a state grant application for the Solar on Schools program. The Sierra Club North Star chapter is 50,000 Minnesotans empowered to protect our community's well-being through environmental protection. In our work to transform the electric sector, we advocate to advance renewable energy products like solar for the sake of cleaner air and a stable climate, while promoting community equity and energy justice. Sierra Club supports the students' vision of creating a climate-resilient local public school system and community at large by saying yes to Solar on Schools. Adopting rooftop and on-site solar on public schools through the Solar in the Schools program can help Duluth and Minnesota lead in the reduction of climate and air pollution and meet our local and statewide clean energy goals to stop the worst impacts of climate change, foster community collaborations to create a path towards a safer, healthier environment now and for future generations,
incorporate solar arrays and energy data into school curriculum and student clubs for hands-on learning and service opportunities, save on utility costs, allowing those savings to be allocated towards Duluth Public Schools' needs and goals, and unlock federal funding through the Inflation Reduction Act programs and expand on-site solar for public schools to maximize the benefits of local clean energy. For these reasons and more, Sierra Club urges the leadership of our Duluth Public Schools to listen to the vision and wisdom of our students by applying for a Solar on Schools state grant. Thank you for serving your students, families, and Duluth community at large. End letter. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. The next speaker is Thea Hans. Thea?
First, I would like to ask everyone here in support of our clerical unit to please stand. Thank you. Good evening, members of the school board, Superintendent Magus, and Assistant Bonds. My name is Thea Hans. I'm the president of the clerical union that serves our Duluth School District. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you tonight on behalf of my dedicated colleagues. I am here to address several critical concerns that affect the well-being and morale of the clerical staff, which in turn impacts the overall efficiency and effectiveness of our school system. Firstly, I want to address the issue of fair compensation. Our clerical staff perform a wide range of essential tasks that keeps our schools running smoothly. From managing student records and handling administrative duties to providing support to teachers and parents, our work is integral to the daily operations of our district. However, our current pay does not reflect the scope and complexity of our responsibilities. We are asking for a pay adjustment that accurately represents the work we are expected to do, recognizing the vital role we play in the success of our schools and district offices. Secondly, I want to highlight the need for increased vacation time. It is disheartening to note that some of our employees who have dedicated 20 years of service to this district are only entitled to 9 vacation days. This is simply not enough time for our staff to rest and rejuvenate, which is essential for maintaining productivity and job satisfaction. We request a review and adjustment of our vacation policies to ensure that long-term employees receive a fair amount of time off comparable to what is offered in similar positions within our district. Retirement benefits are another area of concern. Our clerical staff deserve a retirement plan that provides security and peace of mind for their future. Currently, the contributions towards our retirement plans are insufficient when compared to other units within the district. Lastly, I want to address the perception that our positions are not comparable to other clerical roles within our district. The notion is both inaccurate and unfair. Our clerical staff possess a high level of expertise and versatility, often going above and beyond their job descriptions to support our schools. We request that our positions be reevaluated and recognized for their true worth, aligning our compensation and benefits with those of comparable roles. In conclusion, we are not merely seeking improved compensation, vacation time, and retirement benefits. We are advocating for the recognition and respect that our clerical staff deserve. By addressing these concerns, the board will not only enhance the morale and retention of our clerical staff, but also ensure that our schools continue to operate efficiently and effectively. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Paul Hallstrom.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Paul Hellstrom. I'm here on behalf of the Climate Club, and I work with Minnesota Power. And several years ago, I was asked to come and talk about solar power with them. My history is in solar installation and then working with Minnesota Power for the last 10 years on interconnection process, connecting systems to the grid. I am blown away by what these students have done, advocating at the legislature to get this bill passed, and then it getting passed and funded and refunded. The money will not be there forever. Minnesota Power's experience right now is I have dozens of school projects on my docket. Schools are making this decision independent of student input. Facilities managers, school boards, they're all coming and asking questions, and then they're moving forward with these projects, and we have a bunch that have already been completed. Because the funding and the IRA, has been explained, have really facilitated and actually made it a possibility. Whereas prior, it maybe wasn't due to capital expenditure and payback periods. Neighboring school districts, Hermantown, Carlton, Mesabi East, South Ridge, Hinckley, Monaga. I mean, I can go on. There's a whole bunch of them that are doing these projects, and the ability to make it pencil out is there. And that's the experience, that's just the experience we're seeing. Minnesota Power stands ready to help facilitate any effort as we are duty bound. So interconnection process or any information needed to help facilities managers understand the technology, what's involved, or liaise between developers and the school district. That's a role that I do at Minnesota Power. So just know that there is that kind of support as well within the community. Stepping back from my role as Minnesota Power, my name is Paul Hellstrom. I graduated from Duluth East in 1994. My father graduated from Denfeld in 1956. My grandma graduated from Denfeld in the 20s. I have 2 kids in ISD 709 right now, and it is time to pull the trigger on a project like this. It is a no-brainer. As I mentioned before, other school districts have been going there, and I honestly am a little surprised that ISD 709, with the advocacy that was at the legislature, hasn't already pulled this trigger. $29 million were allocated. I don't know if they're going to reallocate funds, so it's a limited time offer. So I highly encourage and advocate as a citizen, taxpayer, parent, graduate of ISD 709 to support their effort to give these students huge props, and let's go. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Last speaker is Molly McNamee.
Hello, my name is Molly McNamee, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Solar for Schools project. I am an upcoming senior at East High School, as well as a member of Student Government and Climate Club. We'd like to thank all who have joined ISD 709 Climate Clubs in support of our solar mission. If you are at this meeting today in support of Solar for Schools, I invite you to please stand. It is important to recognize that our community has outlined sustainable living as a priority, and the ability to uphold these values under such opportune circumstances is a privilege as well as a responsibility. As young people in this community, the issue of climate-conscious living is one near and dear to our hearts. Duluth has been recognized as a climate refuge in an ecologically declining world, a world that our generation is soon to inherit. We initiate this solar goal fearing the future of our planet, but hopeful of playing a role in altering its frightening trajectory. Though a potentially daunting undertaking, permission for this grant would open doors for further community unity and climate progress, as well as long-term financial benefits for the district. This stage of the project, if allowed to move forward, is low commitment, cost neutral, of value to the community, and favorable in several additional aspects. Now more than ever, this project is crucial, and the community in front of you has put in an enormous amount of effort and care to make this project plausible. We'd like to conclude with a final appeal to this community of educators as your students. Many of us are entering our last years in this school district, and we hope to leave it better than we found it. We leave with a reminder that this presentation, this mission, is representative of the exact values you, our educational community, has instilled in us during our years in your schools. We've taken your teachings to heart and are putting our best feet forward to better our world. Please lend your backing to our mission and make this project possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Molly. Okay, so we are wrapping up this, and just a reminder, this is a listening session. We don't respond back, but I do invite you to stay for our meeting, especially the first part of our meeting where Superintendent Magus will be doing his report and highlighting the work that we have been doing on this topic. And so that is kind of early on in the agenda. So we do invite you to stay to hear the work that has gone on, has been in process with this topic. I want to just thank, though, everybody that was here, our students, your passion, your research. I know it's hard to get up in front and talk with us, so just thank you for taking the time to do that. To our parents, community members, thank you to our staff that are here and also that spoke tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time here in June to do that as well. This wraps up our listening session. Board members, we will have about 7 minutes and then we'll start our meeting at 6:30. Thank you. Thank you again, community, and I hope you can stay.